The great thing about chair yoga is that, well, you can make it as easy or as hard as you'd like it to be. So what I like to do when practicing chair yoga, or even just sitting in general in my chair at work or in my car, I like to fill up the back of the seat with a blanket. So you might even be able to see here that even though this is kind of flat, it still buckets down, meaning when I sit on it, it has my hamstrings up higher than my hips, so they're lifted, which can cause you to have a posterior pelvic tilt where your tail tucks under, and then that can wreak havoc on your low back, on your core, your pelvic floor, and then there's just a host of problems with that. So grab yourself a blanket or a cushion or something to fill up the back of your chair, and then you'll set it kind of in the middle or even near the edge, but your sitting bones will come right to the edge of that blanket so that you can actually lift your tail up, let your pelvis tilt forward, and then you just come to a comfortable seat where there's no pressure in the hips, there's no pain in the low back, and you do kind of feel like you're sitting up a little bit taller. So come to sitting, and we're going to move through a little chair yoga practice. Feel the tail lifted, and sometimes that pushes the rib cage forward. So just like our mountain pose, drop your rib cage in. Ramp the head up and back, and feel as if you're pulling your head or someone's pulling your head up to the ceiling. Let the shoulders relax down, close the eyes, and just feel the position of this posture. We'll take a couple deep breaths here, and we can set an intention for ourselves for this practice. In chair yoga, just let the hips be neutral for now, and we'll start to find movement in the head. So you can drop the left ear to the left shoulder, finding a little stretch down the right side of the neck. And as you breathe through the neck, expand through the side of the neck like gills on a fish, and then as you exhale, just soften, letting the head fall a little more. One more big breath through the side of the neck. And on your next inhale, lift back up through center, find that mountain pose, and then switch sides. Breathing up into the gills, finding that little stretch, and then when you exhale, you can really soften through the other side. On your next inhale, lift your head back up through center, find your mountain pose. Taking that a little deeper through our side bends, you can let your hand come to the side of the chair. Reach the right arm up, and as you exhale, side bend through the left side, just using your hand here as a little guide so that your hip doesn't peel away from the chair. You can keep your hip down, stretching and reaching through the side body. Weights even in both feet, weights even in both sitting bones when you feel a big stretch from the top of that hip bone all the way up through the side body. Inhale, lift yourself back up to center, pause in mountain pose, and switch sides, reaching up through the left arm, side bending to the right. Let the head fall, let the ribs fall. As you exhale, find what movement's here. Find what else is left. On your inhale, float yourself up to center, finding your mountain pose. Good. Inhale, bring your arms up in front of you and cross them like I dream of genie arms. Keep the hips where they are, keep the head where they are, where it is, and then start to wrap your arms around the body. So the head won't move, but we'll twist the arms, moving the shoulder blades across the rib cage. Same side, just keep moving to that left side. We've got 3, 4, exhale, 5, good. Inhale back to center, exhale, 6, 7, 3 more, 8, good. Draw that left elbow back, 9 and 10. Come back through center. and switch which arm is on top. So it's gonna feel totally awkward, and then we'll switch sides. So wrapping the shoulder blades around the body, but the rest of the body stays still. So really we're just opening up that shoulder blade sling that can be kind of neglected, especially if you sit to work. Your shoulders get kind of cemented into their regular habit patterns. We got 4 more. Exhaling to the right, squeezing that right shoulder blade around to the back body. 2. And last one. Wrap and squeeze, come back to center, let the arms rest. Feeling that fatigue, that strength, that awareness in the shoulders. Good. Inhale, lengthen up through the spine. We're going to take a big twist involving the rib cage now. The hands can come to the legs, and we'll start to basically walk them back behind us. So we'll lengthen the spine first, decompress, and then twist, wrapping the right arm to the left knee, pulling that left hand back. Maybe you find the edge of the chair or the back of the chair. Now, if you're really pushing this, you can start to create a lot of torsion all the way through the back. So keep the hips on the blanket, keep the feet on the floor, and continue to inhale and lengthen the spine up as you exhale to revolve your twist even more. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, belly button in and up to the spine, making all kinds of room and space here. Inhale. Exhale, take it away, squeezing in, finding more twist. Take your last breath in. Exhale, twist on your inhale, revolve yourself back to center. We'll switch sides. So sitting up straight and tall. Lengthen as you inhale. As you exhale, reach across. This might be your twist. If you want more, start to walk that right hand back behind you. Lengthen the spine as you inhale. Exhale to deepen the twist. Maybe you get to the back of the chair. Lengthen as you inhale. Exhale, pull yourself deeper into this twist, keeping the sitting bones down, feet down. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze. One more deep breath in. Exhale, revolve and squeeze, and then come back to the center. Good. Let your hands rest on your legs. We'll move through a few seated cat-cows. As you inhale, lift your chest up to the ceiling. Start to lift your chin. Let the head fall back. Just stretch the front of the body. Exhale, drop the chin into the chest. Drop the rib cage down. Curl and round yourself and tuck your tail under. Inhale, lift yourself up, finding your cow pose. And exhale, round the spine like a Halloween cat, dropping the head. And let's move back and forth through that. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, dropping in. Inhale, lifting up, and imagine you're bringing your oxygen all the way into your lungs. And then as you exhale, you're helping squeeze carbon dioxide out of the body. Inhale, open up, making space for everything that you need. Big breath in, and then exhale, round, pulling it all in, squeezing it all out. Last one. Big inhale, lifting up, shoulders down and back, chin lifts. Exhale, roll it all back in. And then inhale, bring yourself back to neutral. Yeah, so you can imagine we spend a lot of time accidentally, kind of here and tucked under. So if you want to take a few more breaths in that cat-cow, or just the cow portion with the chin lifted, finding that back bend, go for it. Wherever you are in your seated mountain pose or in your big back bend, we'll take 3 deep breaths. Perfect. Open the eyes, and now we'll bring ourselves into some hip movement. You can use your side edges of the chair to hold on to if you need the balance. Try your very hardest not to put a lot of weight into your right leg, and try to lift your left leg up. So sometimes we push down through that right leg to lift up, but let this leg almost be weightless. Use your core to lift the weight out of your left leg. Lift and lower. So we're bringing some strength into that hip flexor without overusing the opposite leg. So we'll do that one more time, lifting up and then setting it right back down. Let's try the other side. And they might be totally different, which can be really interesting. Bringing weight out of both legs essentially, but start to lift up through the the right leg, and keep the weight in the left leg very minimal. Very minimal. Lifting and lowering each time you lift that leg. You don't have to lift it all the way up to the sky. For me to get my leg that high, I've got to put a lot of weight into my foot. So each time you lift it, try to let there be even less weight in your standing leg. We'll do one more lift. And then come down. So you might feel a little burn in your hip flexors. Straighten the right leg. Pull the left knee in and up to the chest, and then externally rotate the knee, opening to the side. You can plant the foot on the shin, calf, or inner thigh. I don't recommend necessarily pulling that leg all the way up for right now. That can feel comfortable and nice, but let's just see what we can naturally do. So we'll lift, externally rotate, plant, and find our tree pose. Pushing into the chair or finding your cow pose, we'll inhale, lift the chest, and start to lean back away from our legs, stretching, feeling a little bit of strength in the back body, keeping the core engaged. So it's like a little crunch. Bring yourself back through center, bring the knee back through center, straighten the left leg, bend the right knee. Without any assistance from the hands, open and find the leg. Just see what this opening is like. For me, it feels very different, and I'm sure it looks very different. Finding your seated tree pose, inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, keeping the rib cage down, keeping the core engaged, start to lean back. So giving yourself some work here in the core. Just as if we were standing up and balancing, our strength comes from the core. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, come back through center, let both feet come out. We're sitting on the edge of our blanket and our feet are out. Inhale, lengthen the spine, decompress, and then just from the hips, we'll fold forward, keeping the spine neutral. So you can hold on to your chair if you're worried about toppling over. But don't go so far that you do topple over, because that would be embarrassing and sad. Inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, imagine taking the belly button to the tops of the thighs. If you're feeling this a lot behind the knees, give your knees a little bend. That way we don't overstretch those breaks, the ligaments behind the knees, and we let the stretch stay in the hamstrings. Exhale, continue to fold forward, pull the toes back into the shins and find that stretch down the entire back side of the legs. Good. On your next inhale, lift yourself up. Bring your feet back to neutral, knees stacked over the feet, and from here, really tough work. We're gonna come to standing, but what happens here a lot, we reach forward and then crane ourselves up without using much core strength. So take your feet a little wider than your hips, start to press down through the heels, squeeze the glutes as you press yourself all the way up, and then we're gonna come to the back of the chair. So turn your chair where the back of the chair is facing you. And move your coffee. From here, bring your hands to the back of the chair and start to walk your feet back to the back edge of your mat. And then let the ears come down in line with the arms. This is our standing downward dog. Now, just like downward dog, we can get really saggy here in the belly and fall through the shoulders, but I want you to keep your belly in and up to the spine. Keep your tail lifted. If you need a little bend in the knees, if there's some tension in the hamstrings or calves, you can bend the knees. Let the ears come in line with the shoulders. See if you can reach your fingertips out, really just letting the hands rest on the back of the chair. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, press back into your heels, belly button in and up, rib cage moving in and up. Take 2 more breaths here. Downward dog. On your next inhale, start to lift yourself up, walking the feet forward. Coming to your chair. We'll take our left hand to the chair, bring our weight into the left leg, and then lift your right leg up. We'll lift and lower a couple times, keeping both legs straight. Just see what it's like to gain some strength in this leg, finding your balance. Good. We're gonna stretch through the hip flexors. Bring the knee in and up to the chest. Grab a hold of the shin or the ankle and start to pull the heel back behind you. Now, if this is like painful or not really working out, you can also use the back of the chair. You can just kind of rest your foot on the seat of the chair, driving your knee back, pressing your hip forward, and find a good stretch through the quadricep, squeezing the glute. We'll take 3 breaths in this quadricep stretch. So maybe you're holding on to the ankle, maybe you're holding on to the chair, you've got a wall or a buddy. Give yourself some grace. Take 1 more inhale, lengthen, and then very gently release your foot from the chair or from your hand, and we'll try the other side. So whether you've got your chair or you want to reach up and grab your shin and pull back, either option here is great and fine. I like to rest in the chair. It just takes a load off. And you can create a little extra stability with the chair or the hand by kind of pushing the foot into the hand or the chair and lengthening up through the spine, squeezing the glute, press the hips forward. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, squeeze just a little bit more. And then we'll start to release, coming off the chair and back into mountain pose. We'll come back to our seated mountain, taking your chair back to the front of the mat, sitting on the edge of your blanket. Feet are hip distance apart. You can turn the palms up in the lap, drive the head back over the heart, heart over the hips, hips just sitting comfortably on your blanket. Close the eyes and just feel the body. Those few poses and what they do for you. Know that you can practice this chair yoga at work, at home, wherever feels comfortable or necessary to move the body. Thank you for showing up today and moving your body and challenging yourself with chair yoga. Namaste.